Hello, and welcome to our lesson on the core of project leadership. This segment will cover estimation methods. To properly understand estimation, it's important to make distinctions based on the level of granularity that estimation can take. Early project activities such as strategic planning, feasibility studies, and contract negotiation require estimations of large blocks of deliverables. Essentially, the entire project needs to be estimated as accurately as possible. After the project has kicked off, assessing smaller work units, usually down to the individual task, or at the very least down to a level that allows enough understanding to execute the work properly. Although the mechanics may differ slightly between estimating time and resources, typically financial, many methods can be used to create these estimates. The following techniques are most commonly used. Expert judgment. This is the method that all others are built on. An expert, someone with previous experience, analyses the situation and decides, resulting in an estimate. Strengths, based on previous experience. Experts lend credibility to the estimate for stakeholders. Weaknesses, because the estimate is potentially based on one or more people's expertise. A problem with their credibility may also negatively reflect on the project. Keys to success. Keeping good records or lessons learned gives the expert a proper perspective on past experiences. Because of this, they are consistently comparing previous estimates with actual results and using these previous comparisons to guide their current ones. Top-down estimation. In top-down estimating, the team expert determines the size of the whole unit and then divides it into smaller and smaller chunks, the sum into the ones above, until all tasks' activities are small enough to be compared as separate units. Strengths. It is useful when fewer details are known about the final product. Some divided sections of a project are very similar to those of others, so consider using their actual results in such cases. Weaknesses. If major details are missed, the accuracy of these methods suffers. Keys to success. As more information is learned about the project, the team should revise their estimate similarly top-down. Bottom-up estimation. In many ways, the opposite of top-down, bottom-up first tries to consider all minor tasks or work units and then sum them together to obtain a larger estimate. Strengths. If individual activities are well known, this method may provide a more precise estimate. Weaknesses. This method can be more time-consuming, resulting in inefficiencies, especially if the project's activities are likely to change. Keys to success. If individual activities, work units, or tasks have been completed before, use actual times whenever possible. Comparison or analogy estimation. This method studies historical data under the idea that previous projects with similar attributes will give insight into current estimates. Strengths. Because current estimates are based on historical data, they gain credibility with management and decision makers. Weakness. Projects are by their very nature unique, so finding candidates for comparison can be difficult. When differences are found, adjustments require additional consideration. Keys to success. To compare projects appropriately, it's imperative to correctly record data on actual times to completion and lessons learned. Group consensus, planning poker estimation. Using an established process, a facilitator helps the team reach a consensus estimate on a project, work unit, or activity. Typically, initial estimates are collected from each group member anonymously. Team members state the factors that affected their estimate, and the group re-estimates. Strengths. Group participation in creating the estimate increases commitment to accurate forecasting and ownership of the final results. Weaknesses. If individual group members are biased, the negative effect can be multiplied. Groupthink is also a risk. Keys to success. Consistency in reaching a final decision or estimate will allow individual members to engage more actively in creating an estimate each time this method is used. Consensus decision making. The distinction between unanimous agreement and consensus is essential. Organizational, social, and political groups often need to reach a decision efficiently and reasonably, with all parties supporting the final choice to be effective. Other estimation methods, at least in part, most estimation methods use one or more of the above, but some use inputs such as mathematical statistical models, parametric estimating, or choose to focus more heavily on specific elements of a project, such as risks or size rather than the time to complete the project. Many industries and domains, software, building, civil engineering, have their methods and distinctions. The level of detail needed to make an accurate estimate is often dictated by how far along you have progressed the project. If this is the case, it may be a good idea to change your estimation method one or more times to suit the situation better or the needs you are presented with. For example, a project that doesn't yet have resources may start with a top-down approach, transitioning to group consensus once people have joined the team. This way, a project leader can consider and engage estimation method strengths and avoid the weaknesses as the project continues. Wondering how small to go when dividing the tasks, the 1 to 2 rule states that tasks or work units have been divided sufficiently when the smallest ones can be completed by 1 or 2 resources in 1 or 2 weeks. At this size, individual tasks are easily understood and small enough to allow for consistent demonstrated progress. Though estimating is essential, it's vital to remember that these estimates should flow into actual schedules. Estimating is simply a tool designed to help project teams properly make decisions about their plans. This is the end of this segment of our lesson. In the next segment, we shall discuss estimates versus commitments. This course is presented to you by South Europe College. Thank you for listening, and see you on our next segment.